Lanterns in the Fog. 25 Nights with Forgotten Cities introduction. As night falls on forgotten cities, dear friend, when your eyes grow tired after a long day, and your breath softens like the mist, come with me. 2 places no longer found on maps, cities tucked beneath the dust of time. We won't hurry. There will be no noise, only lanterns glowing faintly in the fog, and stories whispered from crumbling walls, soft as dreams brushing against the memory of the world. 1. Mohenjo-Daro, a city bathed in silence in what is now Pakistan. There lies a nameless city. Mohenjo-Daro once thrived with clean water and straight roads. Now, only the wind slips through earthen walls, and shadows drift from souls who've forgotten they once lived. We walk quietly down a brick lane, and hear the distant echo of water once flowing through ancient baths, a hush deep within the sleep of stone. 2. Carthage, a city between fire and sea. Carthage was once a proud city, home to merchants, warriors, and Mediterranean dreams. Tonight I see whispers of ships that never return. We sit upon a stone ledge and gaze out to sea, where the old lighthouse's glow still flickers. In the world's long memory. 3. Pompeii, a city asleep under ash. Pompeii fell into slumber in the blink of an eye, buried in silence when Vesuvius roared. Tonight we pass painted walls, half-filled wine cups, unfinished meals. Everything remains, as if waiting for a final farewell. We whisper, careful not to wake the ashes. 4. Babylon, gardens that vanished into the sky. Babylon, with its hanging gardens floating midair, we cannot see them. But in this gentle darkness, let us imagine vines curling down stone steps, pools on rooftops, and a lonely man penning verses to a love long gone. The wind passing through columns reminds us that some civilizations once knew how to dream. 5. Petra, a city carved into stone, walks slowly between red cliffs and cold shadows. Petra needs no words, only a silent gaze. Its temples carved deep into rock are like unspoken hearts, still beating with the rhythm of humanity's memory. 6-25. The nights that follow. Each night, we visit Akhetaten, where Pharaoh and the sun once whispered love. Thurna-Sura-Klayan, the Egyptian city now asleep beneath the waves. Ani, the sacred capital of Armenia's highlands. Hatra, where the desert embraces ruined temples. Leptis, Magna, Libius, dusty gem where Roman columns whisper. Tikal, hidden deep in Maya jungles, awaiting the gods' drums. Anunmadal, temples adrift on Micronesia's ocean night. 6. Akhetaten, where the sun once lingered in Egypt's desert. A city rose to honor only the sun. Tonight, though the sunlight is gone, it lingers in crumbled pillars. We step across a square where Akhenaten once watched the dawn, where time and worship once became one. Sand quietly fills ancient footsteps, and the wind hums praise for a vanished light. 7. Dharnasiriklea, the city beneath the sea. Can you hear the waves? They speak of Herakleion, once Egypt's gateway, now resting beneath the Mediterranean. Tonight, we drift into the cool water, past statues that rise solemn from the green stillness, where time does not move, only rests. A submerged lantern glows within memory, and we breathe with the sunken stars.
Ani, the city of 1,000 churches. Ani, abandoned between Armenia and Turkey. Once a center of worship and art, now only hollow domes echo bells that no longer ring. We sit within a roofless church, listening to prayers carried on mountain winds. Nomad spirits still linger. They slumber beside us in peace. Hatra, a city of sand and gods far in Iraq's desert. Hatra rises like a mirage. Its round walls encircled ancient temples where Parthian, Greek, and Roman gods met. Night, sand cloaks each stone, but divine figures still stand hazy and tall. We sit in the empty square, hearing the faint echo of drums, as if hearts from long ago still beat. Leptis Magna roams, gem in Libya's sands, Nile falls on Corinthian pillars. As we stroll through Leptis Magna, once radiant, under Septimius Severus. See, still hums nearby, breezes swirl through the Roman amphitheater. No people remain, but memory lives in stone. Ha ha ha. Lantern sits upon a cold slab, and we listen for footsteps echoing from autumn festivals. Tickle whispers in the Maya jungle. Guatemala's forest, like a deep green blanket, wraps around Tickle's. Towering pyramids, night birds sing softly, he's, and moonlight spills over hot and cold stone. We rest in the central square, where priests once looked to stars to count the days. They are still there, dreaming in leaf-born winds. Ever, the city of legend, they say. Ever was rich, until pride brought it low beneath the earth. In dreams, we see silver domes glowing by moonlight, spice markets, and camels draped in silk. The desert sings a lullaby, and we understand what cannot be found lives forever in memory. Cahokia, the Earth City of North America on Illinois plains, a native people built earthen pyramids, the tallest in the Americas. Cahokia was a city of moons, seasons, and ceremonies. Now only soil and grass remain, yet we feel the drums echo within, as if the heartbeat of ancestors still thrums beneath. Persepolis, Persia's golden memory. Moonlight drapes the grand stairways of Persepolis, where Darius and Xerxes once walked in coronation. Tenite, carved patterns, still wear ancient smiles. The stone gates have shut, but their spirit welcomes us. We bow in silence, and hear Persian flutes sing from afar. Sukhothai a glow from the land of the Buddha in Thai night. Lotus blooms on Sukhothai's old ponds, once the first capital of Siam, now a place of peace like a prayer. We sit by the Buddha's feet, in the soft light of floating lanterns, letting our hearts settle like still water.
Palmyra, dream of the Syrian desert. Moonlight stretches across the stone colonnades of Palmyra, once a crossroads of the Silk Road, where silks, incense, and calligraphy mingled. The desert wind still whistles through broken arches, and Queen Zenobia's shadow flickers like smoke. We whisper into the dark and hear camel hooves fade into the sand. Vijayanagara, stone city by the Indian River under India's moon. We arrive at Vijayanagara, its granite temples still standing, though the kingdom has slumbered for centuries. The Tungabhadra River flows silently, and stone gods look down with peaceful eyes. There are no festivals, yet we imagine. Bells ringing, garlands falling, and a moonlit feast that never ends. Ephesus, whispers from the great theatre. We enter Ephesus along a marble path, where philosophers, pilgrims, and storytellers once walked. The grand theatre still stands, waiting for a forgotten song to return on the night wind. Moonlight kisses every step, and ancient voices rise with no melody. A lullaby without notes. Great Zimbabwe, Africa's enigmatic walls. Deep in Zimbabwe, massive mortarless walls rise. Great Zimbabwe, city of stone, of mystery, and of legend. We walk through its silent maze, hearing owls call to their mate, and imagining torches long gone, leaving darkness soft as velvet touching a fairy tale. Teotihuacan, where nameless builders raised the sun in Mexico, where the sun was once a god. We arrive at No one knows who built it, no names remain, but tonight we lift our eyes to the Pyramid of the Sun, in cold, deep moonlight, and feel time's hand gently resting on our shoulders, light as a wish for sleep. Hattusa, a hidden city in Turkey's valley among Anatolia's hills. Hattusa's walls keep the secrets of the Hittites, stones etched with symbols, lion gates facing starry skies. We walk slowly through its heart, where sound has long been wrapped in night's cloth. Only your own stillness remains. cradled by ancient watchfulness, your land of Abraham and Sumerian stars, where the Euphrates once flowed through the cradle of civilization. We reach you're the city of writers, of star counters, of dreamers. Its ziggurat rises from the dust, a square dream cast in mud. Above us, old constellations shine, like lanterns of ancestors, lighting the way back. Troy, city of epic and fire, have you heard of the wooden horse? Of heroes, Hell and Achilles. Troy is more than a story, it is a place, and tonight, you stand where earth covers earth, amid ruins and dream. The fire is gone, the war long silent, only the moonlight rests on relics, and hearts are finally still. Nineveh, song of a sleeping empire. Nineveh was once the seat of Assyria's might. Now, only clay tablets remain, and stone lions guarding 1,000-year sleep. You sit beside a carved relief, riders frozen mid-charge, and peace wraps you softly, as if empires too must one day set down their swords and rest. Nunmadal, temples floating on the ocean night at last. We arrive at Nunmadal, a city adrift in the sea, its basalt pillars stacked like dark poetry, suspended on mirror-like water. The Pacific wind hums gently, and waves tap memory like fingertips. No one knows why it was built, but we know. It is beautiful, and a fitting final lantern to close the dream. Epilogue. The gentle door of night, we've traveled through 25 cities. Not by airship or carriage, but by mind, imagination, and a touch of lamplit wonder. Now, you've arrived at the last city, no need to carry anything more. Leave it all behind, and sleep a long, deep sleep in the arms of a world forgotten, but never truly gone. Sleep well, traveler of wistful memory. Dreamy maps. 25 journeys across ancient trade. Routes a gentle journey for restful minds. Prologue. When maps were dreams, dear. Tonight, as your thoughts drift like leaves upon a quiet stream, let us unroll a map not of borders or battles, but of silk and salt, wind and whispers, footprints and forgotten stars. Before engines, before airplanes, the world moved softly on, the feet of camels, the oars of boats, the hooves of horses, and the hush of human longing. Close your eyes. Let's set forth, not in haste, but with the patience of an old caravan moving through the sands of memory. Setting forth with silk, the heart of the Silk Road, we begin beneath the stars of Chang'an, ancient China. Lanterns flicker in the twilight as merchants prepare their camels, bundles of shimmering silk and tea tucked tight under canvas. The Silk Road stretches like a dream toward the west, a slow pulse across deserts and mountains. We travel past watchtowers and windswept dunes, pausing at oases where apricot trees bloom beside cool wells. At night, the sound of a flute drifts through the tent, and in its song lives the hope that silk will bring not just trade but stories. The tea roads of Yunnan, mountains, mist, and mules high in the misty hills of Yunnan. Leaf pickers rise before dawn to gather tea, dewy and delicate. Pack horses wind along narrow mountain trails, their steps steady and slow, echoing like heartbeats. The ancient tea horse road meanders toward Tibet, where monks and merchants wait in silence. As fog thickens, you feel the hush of centuries. The scent of tea rises from a clay cup, warming the hands of those who walk in peace. Along the Roman roads, all roads lead to Sleepstone beneath your sandals. The Via Appia stretches into the countryside, lined with olive groves and broken columns. Roman roads connect the empire like threads from the wilds of Britannia to the deserts of Egypt. Carts creak, sandals shuffle. A traveler reads a poem aloud under the shade of a pine tree, while a donkey munches grass nearby. Time moves slowly, here and always forward. Incense on the Arabian wind, the scented path of frankincense. In the golden light of Arabia, frankincense glows like frozen honey in leather satchels. We journey from the lush groves of Dhofar through shifting sands, where wind carves waves into the dunes. At each resting point, fires are lit, and the smoke of incense curls upward, a quiet offering to gods and sky. Nightfall comes gently. A storyteller speaks of winged horses and desert queens. We lie back upon woven mats and drift asleep beneath stars that once guided caravans home. Crossing the Himalayas, snow, sky, and serenity here. The air is thin and sacred. The mountains rise like silent prayers, white against the blue of endless sky. We follow the ancient passes' narrow paths, etched by yak hooves and human hope. Bells ring from wool-wrapped necks. The only sound is snow crunching beneath fur-lined boots. At night, In a stone hut lit by yak dung fire, a monk offers tea salted and warm. Outside, the wind chants sutras to the moon. Inside, you feel it. The comfort of being very small in a very big, kind world. Viking traders, on the Volga oars. Ice and echoes we board a longship in the cold north. It's dragonhead.com as ice. Viking merchants row along the Volga, bringing amber and furs from the Baltic. Seeking silver and silk in the east, fog hugs the riverbank, and birch trees pass in quiet procession. No raids tonight, only trade and tailies. By the fire, one sailor hums an old lullaby, and the ripples carry it downstream, toward silent. The spice coast of Kerala, cinnamon, and calm seas. We sail along the western coast of India, where cardamom, cinnamon, and pepper scent the docks. Fishermen mend nets. Sailors barter gently. The monsoon wind swelled the sails, but the ocean speaks softly tonight. The stars are reflected in water still and warm, like memories drifting between two shores. The Amber Road. Golden light on forest paths from the Baltic Sea to the Adriatic. Amber glows like trapped sunlight. We walk through pine woods, where wolves once watched from the shadows. Villagers rest at twilight, and children sleep clutching warm beads. The path glows beneath our feet, and every step feels like a memory. The Royal Road of Persia. Quiet footsteps across empire from Susa to Sardis. Messengers once ran on this very path, carrying the king's seal in ancient peace. Now only dust stirs, and the hoot of an owl greets the moon. We find shade beneath cypress trees, and dream of Coreas whispering Patreus. They pass in sandals worn smooth by time. The Trans-Saharan route. Sand, salt, and shadows. We join a caravan beneath the Saharan moon, where camels sway like ships on a golden sea. Salt cakes, gold dust, and quiet songs are carried across dunes. Oasis fires twinkle in the dark, and dates are shared without a word. The stars overhead are unchanged. Still guiding feet, still soothing hearts. The silk roads of Samarkand, blue domes and blue dreams. Samarkand shimmers in the dusk, its tiled domes glowing like twilight prayers. Traders speak many tongues but share one silence one. They look up at the stars, a cup of pomegranate wine, a silk veil caught in a breeze, and a story of tigers embroidered in gold. We rest in beauty's shadow tonight. The wine roads of Gaul, grapes, carts, and laughter in the hills of old France. Carts rattle slowly down vineyard lanes. The sun has set, but the scent of grapes lingers. Villagers sing by candlelight, and an elder pours you a cup from last year's harvest. Even Bacchus would sleep well tonight. The pilgrim paths to Mecca, sandals, stars, and solitude steps. Echo on stones. Pilgrims walk, not for trade, but truth. We pass wells dug by ancient hands, and date palms that offer gentle shade. In the hush between chants, you feel the weight of peace. A sacred quiet drawn not on maps, but in heart. The Lapis Lazuli Trail, bluestones through the mountains. Afghanistan's peaks gleam under moonlight. Donkeys bear loads of deep blue stone, bound for Egypt and Mesopotamia. We follow, each footstep ringing softly. Lapis is a dream of the earth, born in silence, and delivered with reverence. The obsidian roads of Mesoamerica, shadows of stone. We walk among volcanoes, where obsidian glints beneath soil and leaf. In the highlands of Mexico, traders once brought blades and beads crafted from black glass. Tonight, the jungle hush returns, and the stones reflect moonlight, like still eyes, watching kindly. The canoe routes of the Great Lakes, waterways and whispers we glide across mirrored lakes, the paddles dipping softly into the calm. These waters carried birch bark canoes filled with furs and maple sugar. The trees lean in close as if to listen. A loon calls from the distance, and the fire crackles on a rocky shore. The stars above reflect below, and in this stillness, nothing is lost. The incense root of Petra, rock, sand, and sacred smoke, deep in the canyons of Petra. Caravans once snaked through these crimson cliffs, bringing sacred resin from the south. We walk among tombs carved by time, and light a stick of incense to honor the past. Smoke rises, shadows soften, and the rocks seem to breathe. The tin route to Cornwall. Fires and quiet mines. The moors of Britain are wrapped in grey, but beneath the earth, tin once shimmered. Celtic miners carried ore to the coast, 2 ships waiting under cloudy skies. Now the wind moves alone through the ruins. We sit near an ancient hearth, and the smell of peat carries old stories home. The steppe roads, horses, wind, and whispered songs across the vast steppe we ride. Mongol traders once galloped beneath these skies, their yachts packed with felt and silver, grass, boughs, underhoof. The air hums with wind and memory. A throat singer hums a lullaby to the stars, and your heart echoes the tune. The salt paths of Mali, dust, gold, and Timbuktu's light salt gleams like snow on camelback. Bound for a Timbuktu city of scholars and stars, we cross the Sahel at twilight. Children recite verses in sand-floored schools. The minarets cast long shadows, and a single lantern glows within the mud-brick mosque. History sleeps beneath these sands, and dreams are written in gold dust. The Hanseatic sea lanes, bells and Baltic breezes from Lubeck to Riga. Ships once sailed quietly, laden with beeswax, cloth, and silver fish. We hear creaking wood and sea softened by the fog. The lighthouses still blink in rhythm, and the sea, always patient, washes the past clean every night. The Red Sea spices, sails, stars, and cinnamon dreams. Dhow sails unfurl beneath the moon, carrying cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon north. We drift past coral islands, and the sea breathes warm and steady. Fishermen hum in Swahili, and a cinnamon stick floats in your evening tea. The boat rocks gently, and your thoughts sway like silk. The Ganges trade lotus, lanterns, and floating markets. The river Ganges flows like time itself. Barges move between temples and towns, carrying rice, cloth, and spices. Lanterns float on the current, each one a quiet prayer. A flute plays near the riverbank, and you lie back, cradled by the lull of water and devotion. The ambergris path, whale song, and southern winds. Far in the South Seas, sailors traded perfumes and pearls, guided by the scent of ambergris on the breeze. Waves kiss the hull with lullaby rhythm. The moon reflects in ocean eyes. Somewhere, a whale sings, and its song calls you deeper into sleep. The bamboo rafts of Gillan, limestone, and liquid peace at last. We float down the Li River. Bamboo rafts carry mandarins and quiet thought. Karst peaks rise like guardians. Egrets fly overhead, silent and white. A fisherman sleeps beside his and the current leads us home. Epilogue. The journey gently ends. You have traveled far across deserts, mountains, rivers, and dream. But here there is no destination, only the soft turning of the world and the hush that follows, knowing. Close the map, let it rest by your bedside, and let yourself drift down tides of memory and the silence between stars. Good night, wanderer of forgotten paths.